By supporting the Flower Valley Conservation Trust, that's where we found goodness. Pick and Pay, always there for you.
Bob, we are hungry, yes. Come on, let's have some food. Here we go, Bobs. There we go. Yum, 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 yum. There we go. Welkom terug hierso. Jy is ingeskakel by jou Goedvoel ontbytprogram. Dis Expresso hier op SABC. Here we go, Bobs. Op SABC3 now. Just before the break, we sat down with Andrea Du Plessis talking about how to keep your intestines in tip-top shape. Now, something that can cause it to be not healthy is parasitic worms. And with 130 million annual cases of serious worm infestation in humans worldwide, with kids being at greater risk due to underdeveloped immune systems, it is quite a serious condition. And this morning we have Fransa Katz from PnP Pharmacy in studio to chat about these unpleasant parasites. Fransa, good morning. Welcome for joining us.
Thank you.
So, worms, not a very pleasant topic after the, how to keep your gut healthy like we did before the break. But let's talk about the different types of worms that we can expect to find, in humans.
The most common ones that you'd find in humans would be your threadworm, your roundworm, and your tapeworm. They are usually found in humans. And I think a lot of us don't think about it all the time, and we probably walk around not knowing whether we have worms or not.
But that is what I wanted to ask as well.
Yes.
I mean, it's not something that's constantly in our minds.
No.
It's more when we, your animals need to get dewormed, that kind of thing. Not for us.
Yeah.
All right.
You see, the thing is, when you actually get worms, you don't know about it because it's either through something you've eaten. The main common cause for worms in humans are poor personal hygiene, hand washing, and it's passed from person to person.
Really?
And as you said, especially with children, they're at school, they could pick up a pencil of the friend sitting next to them, and that way the tiny, tiny eggs of these parasitic worms are passed onto the hand, and then they might put something in the mouth, and that's how you actually get the worm to get into your digestive system. So we're not that aware of it. It's not something that you notice or that you'll know, oh gosh, I might have worms. So yeah, it's something that we don't really think about, but it's very common, as you said.
Are there any symptoms though? Because you say that you can't really know.
Not really. In really bad cases, you can find that you might have some stomach cramps or diarrhea, bloating, but that would be in bad infestations. Usually not really. You can find with children, especially with a threadworm, that they tend to itch a lot at the bottom. They would scratch, especially at night. So if you notice small children feeling uncomfortable and scratching all the time, it could be worms.
Okay, so let's talk about how you go about curing it. What can you do? What is there?
The best thing is to go every 6 months, go to your pharmacy, speak to one of our Pick and Pay pharmacists. There's a very good over-the-counter medication, tablets and a suspension available. You take that, they will explain to you, because there's a certain way, you've got to take it for 3 consecutive days, etc., but they'll explain it to you. And just deworm yourself and the whole family every 6 months. And that way you're fine, you don't have to worry about it, and should you maybe pick it up from somewhere, that medication totally gets rid of the worms.
But it is quite scary that you say that you wouldn't know, or that it's in you.
No.
Any way that you can prevent it, your top tips?
Again, personal hygiene, hand washing, especially because it's always from hand to mouth. So washing before, teaching your children, wash hands before they have dinner or lunch or any meal time. Washing hands when they've been to the bathroom. Small children, keep the nails short, because some of these worm eggs actually gather and stay under the nails.
And then his fingers in the mouth.
Yeah, so that type of thing. Also sand pits. If you have children at home and you've got a nice sand pit in the garden where they play in, keep the sand clean. Because if there's any animal or pet feces in the sand, that is how the worm eggs can go from the sand to the children. Very important to keep the area where they play clean.
All right. Thank you so much, Fransa, for joining us.
It's a pleasure.
If people want to ask you any questions, they can get you on Twitter.
Yes, it's at Fransa Katz. Just drop the Z.
Just drop the Z.
Yes.
At Fransa Katz, just drop the Z. You can find her on Twitter to ask her all your medical questions or your pharmacy questions. Thank you so much. Right now, there's over to the team from Good Hope with your G Sports on this Thursday morning.